There are two main ways to play the 11-piece ensemble that is Session Strings 2, and there are two what I like to call more hidden ways, which we'll get to later in the video. So immediately right here, what you heard was the velocity switch. And you say, what's switching about it? Well, it has the ability right here with main and with the velocity switch to give you a different articulation. Now, I didn't press hard enough for that to happen. So you can see the levels there. For it to go really hard, it's set pretty high, so. Now we can, because that was very loud, we can actually bring these are MIDI velocities, so maximum is 127, and then we come down right here to 80. Let's see what happens. And then, so that is fast slide down is what's happening on the switch. And right here, sustain is the main one. Let me bring it back up to 110. And then we can just play. Very beautiful, very soft, and you can actually change what the main articulation is. So we can say legato, the cat. I don't think that's what it means, but it could be a creeping cat. Okay, we can go back to, we can go to portamento. Now this will make it glide. Now what's interesting about this is that even though most portamentos that I've worked with before, when it does that glide, it stops playing the first note that you played, but this continues to play it, which is interesting. Until you get there and you're holding down 3 notes, it doesn't like that. So you can only hold down 2 notes. And that could be useful for certain tones. Things. So now we have accented. So let's see. So it's got an accent. What else are you going to call it? It's different than sustain is very soft, accented. A stronger attack, that's what it is. So, and if we read the description down here, it says the main articulation sets the articulation below the velocity switch threshold, and we've seen we can adjust the threshold. So we're going to go, let's see, what else can we will do a couple other articulations. As you can see, we have staccato, spiccato, pizzicato, tremolo, slide up, slide down, accentuated, crescendo, and crescendo. We're going to go to pizzicato. This is a sound that you're no doubt familiar with. is one of my favorite things to play in pizzicato. And then we have, what was that? I was curious about this one. Okay, now this one actually ends. Very nice. You could use that in, well, the end of a piece. Okay, so I am going to put it back to, well, actually, let's leave it. Let's put it to, oh, tremolo. Let's try this. Here's I play lightly. I'm actually going to give us some more volume here. This is my secret. That's how I get it, so you can hear my strings anyway. And anything else I play. Here we go. Again. Someday I may go into the setup, but not today. Okay. And okay. I may regret turning it up, but we'll see. Now, let's look at the different types of velocity switches. So it could be legato, so we could have it. I'm going to bring it down for sake of me not having to play so hard to activate it. So. Yeah, I don't think they do tremolo way down there normally. Now, you'll notice that it ends at middle C. This is like the modern concert basses. Oops, hit my microphone. The modern concert basses, right, can go down to a C. Don't quote me on this, but I believe before that it was like a E. Or maybe it was E flat. Anyway. So, and when you click on the keys, they're at like maximum velocity. So we have all the things that we have there. We have, so we can do that. So we'll go back to sustain and let's see. Now, of course, if you want it to be softer, let's see. And you can use that to a certain effect. Now, we usually, by default, it's set up to a higher velocity before it does anything. And like I said, 127 being the max, 1 being the lowest you could do. So, and so that is the velocity switch section. Now, we hop over to the other method of playing it, and that is the rhythm animator, right? And I was experimenting a little bit before we got started on the different ways that you could do this. So it has steps. Now these steps tell the string instrument here what to do. We could have 32 steps. Oh, that's 16. 16. There, this is weird. I hit 16 and it goes to 32. Anyway, we have 16 or 32 steps to this rhythm animator, and this is a sort of programming. It tells it how to articulate. Right now we're on staccato 0-1, so. I think we're hitting pretty near the top. I'm going to adjust it again. All right. My magic number, as I've discovered over time, that seems to be a good one. All right. Hop on back over here. Okay. And that enables another way of playing to where you don't have to, you could do one note, or you could do several notes. Listen to how it responds to the velocity of my playing. So. Now, whichever, I can play one note harder than the other, and that will just increase the volume of the whole set, or it will drop it. Drop it? Yeah, lower the volume or increase it. And it's just a way to play dynamically. Now, you have to kind of get used to it. It's not the way you're used to playing if you're used to playing keys, but hey, if you're a producer and it doesn't really, you're not a keys player, not all producers are not keys players. That was a double negative. Some producers play other instruments other than keys, and some play keys as their main instrument. Some do drums, some do guitar, whatnot. Anyway, my point was, if you are not a keys player, that probably won't seem like such a strange thing to just be controlling the volume in that way. Or maybe not. Maybe you're a keys player and this just feels totally natural to you. So let us move on. There are a number of options in here which I have not dug into all of them, but I can show you the basics here. So we're on number 1. If we go to this, this is a different pattern. One of the things you can actually do is you can alter the pattern by changing the height of these stacks. So this tells it and let's see, it should go back to the default one. No, it didn't? Okay, well, I may have altered that one permanently. Okay, so, okay, now this one has 16 steps. So, we started out on this pattern. We have this one. Some harder accents. Anyway, I was like, really driving. Use that for, what would I use that for? Something. So with this control, clicking on these, you can make your own. Let's see, what does this do? This recalls matching sound presets. Interesting. All right. And then you have, it could be doing, let's see, eighth notes. We could be doing quarter notes. Quarter notes? Let's see. Yeah. Fourth. Eighth. Imagine this is synced to the BPM of Reaper right now. Let's do 16th. 32nd. I don't think I've ever heard anyone play that fast, though I'm sure it's possible. Well, let me rephrase that. I have not heard a group of musicians play a pattern like this. Not exactly like that, anyway. Okay, let's go back to 16th. Now this sounds more like something I've heard. Anyway, eighth note seems to be a little more. Okay, now we could order them. Let's see. Order retrigger. What is retrigger? To retrigger starts the pattern from the beginning with every new key on. Okay, so, and we'll start from the beginning. You can see the playhead right here is going to start again from the beginning of the line. Now, you could change the order of that, right? Let's see. Determines the order, the note order of arpeggio, so we could make it be up. Okay. We can make it down. We could make it up and down. And then we could just have it be lowest. So that'll be interesting. Now, I think I like it in just that way. So I think order is the order in which you played them. That's probably what that is. Now, I haven't had it on retrigger, so let's try it without. I feel like this is more natural. You can see it's playing the whole cycle. Now, let's see. Hold. continues the pattern phrase either in one shot or hold mode. So what do we got? Got on loop. One shot. That's what that's all about. Okay, now it's a one shot, so it stopped at the end. Let's go to loop. No hands. Now, turn hold off, and of course you have to keep your hands on it. All right. Now this controls the balance between the pattern and the manual input. So it's weighted towards input. It's weighted towards animator. What does that do? Okay, doesn't matter how firmly you play. If it's only input, then I think they found a nice balance, which is right about there. Now swing. So this means it suggests the amount of swing applied to the pattern. Right now we have, now that's with timing, it gives it a little bit of, it's not so robotic. Okay, so there's not much swing in there, but let's see what happens if we put a lot of swing. Okay, before we had no swing. Okay, now we can put in a little bit of swing. What is it what Jacob Collier said, 50% swing or 58? 50, it was some odd number in the middle, but not exactly in the middle. Anyway, let's try this. I mean, just as for swing in general, not on this instrument, but I want to try it, so. It is right. Cool. All right. So there are other patterns to be had, and we won't go through all of them, but we can go forward, forward. So there's different staccato patterns, and one of my favorites is, it's one of the combis. Let's see, if I go here to browse, I can probably find it here. It's combi, is it 6? Let's see. All right. Okay, show me. So, let's see, the staccato. Okay, so there's different, they all change the settings. See, this one changed the swing. We got the input, we're doing 16th notes. All right, now, like I said, you can create your own. I'm not doing this based on knowledge, I'm just tweaking. I shouldn't say not all knowledge. I had some knowledge that would change it. And you can play around with that. And if you're really familiar with this, then you can say, I want this pattern and draw that in. All right. So that is very cool about this. Let's see, what does this do? This randomizes articulation for all steps. Ooh. Wow. That'll be interesting. This one randomizes velocity. Okay, so randomize articulation, randomize velocity, and then finally randomize the chord mode for all steps. That'll be interesting. Lots of control. You could go crazy in here. So in a good way, all right. So I'm going to go forward. These are the staccato articulations, and each one has these other ones that it can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ones within that. So now the combis have both sustain, staccato, and other effects in there. And oh, that's so cool. Okay, and you could keep going. So this is a section I really need to master so that I can, not just so I can use it mainly, and then that. So we got retrigger happening in this one. All right, order, retrigger, order. Oh, interesting. So you can play around with that. That's number 3. I think it was number 6 that is my favorite. Was it? It was one of these. Okay. So all right. We can go forward, and it's changing different sounds here as well as we change modes. So let's see. So the sounds here are related to, well, a lot really. It's doing things here in the velocity switch section, as you can see, and it's also adjusting the effects page, which we haven't looked at yet. Well, we'll go to dry strings. All right. This is with no reverb. By default, when you start in the session strings mode, it has reverb turned on. Okay. And you have, as per usual with Native Instruments offerings, there are different types of reverbs. So we have Hall. This is Concert Hall A. That sounds most natural. Well, you wouldn't think anything of it just hearing it. It sounds right. So we got a scoring stage. little bit smaller than a concert hall A. All right, back to scoring stage. Yeah, different tail. And we could go to a cathedral. That'll be interesting. All right, and you could adjust the amount of that. We can do more. All right, very drier sound. And we could go to room as well. Room, plate. Here, let me reset the settings right here. There we go. So we have these different sections here. The top section is the categories, and the bottom section is the preset. So we can go to room. Okay, room B. And we can go on. We go Studio 1. It's a very tighter sound. We could set it to a plate. These are the old style. They had plates. Not eating plates, but plates of metal. All right, and we could make it a clear plate, a gold plate, a rich plate. Let's try gold plate. They would have different responses for each of those. Rich plate. Did sound richer. Yeah. Okay. And we have room and algorithm. I'm just going to go to one more algorithm because I'm curious. Ambience. Ambience. We're going to do Mega Hall just for fun. Okay. And then we can go on and say, now this has the delay is this section. It's not really turned on. So let me turn that on, okay? And then you can sync to the host tempo, which the host tempo would be 120 BPM. So that's what I'm set at. All right. So. You can hear the definite tap of the delay. If If I turn it off, it's kind of a more sustained thing. Okay, I will go back to Hall in Concert Hall A, and we can turn it off. Okay, turn it on. With delay, synced to the tempo. And we can adjust the time, the amount of delay time, the feedback, okay, which is the number of repetition. Good to know. And then this is the overall volume of the delay. Okay, so we'll turn that off. Another section they have is humanize and color. So humanize, this adds tuning variation to each instrument, so it's not quite so perfect in timing. Adds the variation, timing variation to each instrument. So let's go extreme. If we take it away, so everybody's dead on there. Now, we might not want to add that much variation if you're trying to humanize it. I did, what was like 15%. Just, you know, throw out a number. It depends on the sound you want. You can also humanize the timing. So add some variation. Once again, extreme to show example. Okay. Once again, we'll do, let's just pick a point. These are little things you might not notice. So let's turn it all the way off. Turn it all the way on again. See, some of them don't even come in there, but like I said, these are all little things that just all of it adds just a little bit each time. All right, so the color section, you know, this right now is set to studio and desk, so this must be sitting at the desk. Let's see. Let's go hi-fi boost. Inherit. As opposed to when you're at the desk. Okay, I'm going to unhumanize it a bit. So, as before, you have multiple categories: studio, distortion, modulation, let's see, distortion, and then you have different presets in each of these categories. So we have radio. This is all without leaving the instrument. Let's go for old tape. Oh. Where are my lo-fi people? Who may not play it like that, but you know, I get the idea of the old tape. It's kind of all right, we could do so there's a lot you could do with the color and shaping the sound to be how see, abstract. Abstract can get weird. It almost sounds like one of those glass. I'm thinking of that rotary glass instrument going while that's happening. So you could go on and on. There's many levels and layers to be explored in this instrument. Now the shape section. Now what this does is it adjusts. So we have AR, attack and release. So attack right now. Let me reset it real quick. Attack is quite strong. If we were to turn the attack all the way here, that could be a great effect. Now release is how long the sound holds on. So okay. And then back to 0. So that you can use for the effect. Now here's the stereo width. And if we go left, it becomes mono. And if we go right, it becomes enhanced stereo. And center is neutral, right where it is right now. So we'll go this way. Mono. It even says mono. Nice. And that may be an effect that you want for a particular piece. Now let's go enhance stereo. All right. That was super wide. Very wide. So I'm going to put it back to the middle. Okay, so we've covered this section. Now we go back to main, and we will look at, before we move on to the hidden ways of playing, they're not exactly hidden, but they are sort of hidden. All right. So we're going to look at some presets. Let me go back to effects. I'm actually going to unhumanize it entirely, just for the sake of of illustration. Okay, so by default we have session strings and we have dry strings. Now these presets, there are a lot of them, and they are changing different parameters in the effects section. So It could be, let's see. So there is actually a reverb, but it's a very, very tight one. And it may be doing a different color setting and delay setting. All those are adjusted by these presets, and they give you a great starting point. You may not even want to go under the hood, but it's kind of fun to dig into the settings and see all the things you can do if you want to. If you are a what do we call it, a music not music nerd, sound nerd, and you like to to tweak the sounds and stuff, which is kind of me. I like to go in there but for quick stuff, and most often I end up using presets because they just sound so good right out of the gate. So here we go. On tape. We'll go to a couple more of them because there's a lot to go through. We may need a part 2 for this, yeah? What that's doing is it's changed the attack and the release. Yes, see, we got the stereo width a little bit wider, the release is longer, and the attack is slower. And we're using an abstract color called wire. Interesting. So presets in this way can give you a starting point for what you might want to do if you go in and see what it's doing to your sound, and then you can say, hey, maybe I want to create my own sound. And then once you do create your own sound, there is a way to save it. It usually asks you to save it when you're closing the instrument. All right, last one for this section, chamber, and then we'll talk about those 2 hidden ways of playing. I just noticed you can see my velocity of each note I hit in there, and that's a cool effect. Now, the hidden ways of playing this, which are not so hidden. Number one, we have the smart chord, well, and the smart voice split. We could say the smart voice split is number 1, but I wanted to talk about the smart chord first, so here we go. We'll turn this on, and this means that you can play with one finger and play a set of chords. I started trying to play chords. If you look at the interface, you can see what it's doing. Now there's more. If you click on the key here, you can see it is the key. So the root is F, key of F. So if I play And this shows you we have the chord. So we have the root chord, the one, that's a 4 chord. Okay, so root is always going to be the C key. This is it's throwing me off a little bit. It's the key of F, but we have C. So there's the 1 chord, which is our F chord with a C. What does it do when I go up here? Yeah, okay. So it's kind of got a C chord in there, but it's still F. It's like a second inversion F with a C in the anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th chord. So you could totally use the number system to play with this. Now, our black keys, as you can see right here, do different things. They don't play notes. They give you warmth, depth, crunch, cinematic, and tension. So here we go. Let's do our root chord. Okay, let's make it warm. Let's make it deep. Let's make it crunch. Cinematic. Give some tension. All right, now, as you can see, you can change which the root chord is. We'll keep it on F for this example. And it's in major right now. So then we can go minor chords. Different sound. As opposed to major. Dorian. Got a little loud there at the end. Dominant. Kind of like Dorian, but a little different in sound, that is. Melodic minor. Melodic minor? Melodic minor, yes, okay. I love melodic minor scales. Harmonic minor. This will be different. That could be a progression in and of itself. All right, just like. I can get to the next chord in my that I was thinking of, but what I did there was of course our root, and then I made it warm. Let's do the next crunch. Nope. Okay, so clearly harmonic minor is not my easy key for me to play in. I'll go with just major. Minor? Major. Minor? Let's do minor. Interesting. Okay. So this, with some practice and experimentation, which is basically practice and figuring out, this could make a you can it's making me speechless here. You can play chords in different tones and things just with this smart chord feature. Now, there's another hidden feature that is not hidden. Okay, I'm going to turn off the smart chord, and that is the smart voice split. Now what that does, okay, by default, you can see down here, it's got the different colors. We got the high strings in blue as we get close to green. So the middle ones. Okay, so range violins and violas, just violas, violas and cellos, and then cellos and basses, and as we get lower, it's just basses. So it's already smart. Okay, it's not that this was dumb to begin with, but then when you hit the smart voice split, it will actually, and you see the whole thing turns blue. It will do it for you. I don't know if it's affected by this. I have this turned off, so if we turn them both on, that might be chaos. Okay, well, let's turn smart chord off again. Now, with this, you can then play chords. As you can see there, it's playing. So it's playing the bass note for me as a root, the root, whatever the root is, in this case C, so I can play a C chord. See how crazy I can get into C minor? Yeah. C minor, major, C augmented, C diminished, C major 7, C dominant 7, C minor 7. We'll take a C9. Yeah, okay. A major 9, I should say. So, G. To F. As long as I change the root, it follows the root. So let's have a little fun with it. Notice something. So it's following whichever note is the lowest, so I could be playing that with my right hand as I am here. Or I could play it with my left hand. Alright. And if you watch the screen here, can be a whole other way of playing with this instrument. All right. So there's much more that we could get into, but this gives you a little look under the hood at all the creative possibilities, and there's more if you continue to work with the settings and such. So I'm going to go to one more effect to end with. We'll pick drama. Okay, now something's happening under the hood. Abstract. We made that's a razor. Distorted violin. Distorted strings. All right. So many things. Warm pad. We'll end on a softer note. Check the articulations. Thank you for joining me.